Well, thank you for finding your way here. I don't know what you had to do to get here on a Tuesday, but some of you threw up more resistance than others, but all of us had to put something else aside to be here, and we're grateful that you did, that you found your way here this evening. Of course, today marks the end of 4 months, specifically with this group of world-class entrepreneurs, and they have to showcase for you what they've been working on, and they're going to finish with what their next step might be. Our goal at Rally is to find world-class social entrepreneurs and help them take their next step. They're going to share with you what their next step might be, and hopefully you can help them make the connection. But before we get into that, I just wanted to remind you what Rally is all about. We call it Rally because we believe that Central Florida has all of the components that are required to release world-class social entrepreneurs onto the world to address real intractable problems. We think that problems are worth solving to go beyond addressing symptoms and really move towards solutions. And we think social entrepreneurs are uniquely positioned to build solutions and move them forward. And so if you grabbed one of those booklets when you came in, you realize that Rally has been working to release social entrepreneurs onto intractable problems for 5 years. And the way that we've been doing that is by rallying together all the components that we need. We have brilliant entrepreneurs, successful business leaders, higher education, government officials, and entrepreneurs all coming together throughout those 5 years in 4-month increments over and over again to build real sustainable solutions that make a positive and measurable impact in the world. And you guys are a part of that by being here. I hope that most of you are in the room because you've connected with Rally at some point. And I am biased, but I think Rally is a network of the coolest people in Central Florida. And so it's worth stepping in further. If you've got 1 point of connection, find 2. If you've got 2 points of connection, find 3. If you've got 3 points of connection, deepen the ones that you have. But the Rally network are people who want to see meaningful change in the world and are persistent in pursuing it. One of those founding members of Rally is Dr. Mary Conway Dayton, and so I'd love for Dr. Conway for you to come up and say a few words.
You know, Ben is also incredibly humble of that, right? So my role here this morning is to just say thanks. This morning? He couldn't figure out if it was Tuesday or not, and I don't know what time of day it is, so we're glad you're here. But Ben has also been very humble because a lot of this is his vision. And so before I do my list of official thank yous, I want to just ask you to kind of give a shout out and give maybe a round of applause or a few yahoos, yoo-hoos to Ben and the work that he does. So thank you, Ben. And of course, the work not so quite behind the scenes, especially if you're one of the fellows, as they call them, or entrepreneurs, right, is Kyle Steele. So Kyle, thank you so much for your work as well. And as you build Rally, right, it really is an ecosystem of support that takes us into the future. And that happens because some folks have dedicated time, energy, and money. And so I want to make an official thanks to a few organizations and a few people who have done that at different levels. First of all, we have the good fortune to live in the city beautiful of Orlando, right? And the city has been an incredible partner to Rally over the years. And they are joined together with the county, Rollins, who I'm here representing today, which is a board member to Rally, and of course the Central Florida Foundation. The collaboration that you see from this 3 sectors, really 3 main sectors of our economy, the government, the nonprofit sector, and the educational sector, really have a deep commitment to making this network a reality. So we are fortunate to be in this city, in this county, and I ask you to stay here and watch the party grow, because that's where we're going. The city is particularly involved with what's called the Future Ready City. And so one of their investment portions, if you will, is looking at our current and future and former entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, and saying, what makes sense to have them stay here? How do they prepare our city for a future that is unknowable and unpredictable, but can be better than what it is today? And so that investment through the Future Ready City is very important. And the county equally shares a commitment to social entrepreneurship and to the social entrepreneurs and their network. Ben mentioned this lovely book that we've put together, and on the back page, if you will, there are a few sponsors that I want to mention. These sponsors, really, we couldn't do it without them. So Dan Devine, Clean the World, one of our first B Corps here in Florida, and also a big sponsor of us here at Raleigh. CISO, Blizu, and Ben Davis, along with Josh Brown, Avani Desai, Rob Penapento, Heath Hensley, and Marty Rubin. They have all individually and as organizations made incredible commitment, again, of time, energy, and money. And really the backbone of our organization, and Ben mentioned this, is partnering the entrepreneurs with rally makers, right? So these are the folks who have given 5 years of support to the rally makers. So there are many rally makers. These are the ones who have been with us over the 5 years. John Karen, Vishal Gupta, John Rivers, and Rajiv Menon. So let me pause for a second and say, let's give another round of applause for all of those folks. This is really, truly the rally that brings us together, that helps us to look at problems from a different perspective, understand that solving the problems of our society, our environment, are important, they make a difference, and that entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial thinking often offers a very unique way of solving those problems. So let's get to the fun part. We've said thank you to everyone, and I think I'm turning it over to Mr. Kyle Steele himself. Kyle?
Thank you, Dr. Conway. It's good to see everybody in here. I'm Kyle Steele, Program Director here at Raleigh. I've had the privilege of working with Ben and a lot of people that Dr. Conway just named for like the last 5 years, and that work has been good. Before I go into thank yous, first I want to just say for the fellows part of the summer 2022 class, can you stand up real quick just so people can see you? All right, there we go. Let's get these folks. These are 8 exceptional social entrepreneurs, thank you very much, who we have been able to find and bring to Orlando and to experience the community here, to be able to extract knowledge and wisdom and resources. And we'd like to thank Central Florida and the people of Central Florida for being so hospitable to these individuals. It's been a pleasure working with each of them over the last 16 weeks. And we're here today, so my job is kind of like herding cats, and so I'm happy to finally have herded all the cats. We were almost down one because he had to sleep in the airport overnight, but he made it, and so I was very happy to see that cat walk into the door. Ian, so like I said, you're a champion, man. You deal with what you got, right? Not with what you wish, and you're here, so that's all that matters, and so you made it. With that being said, first of all, let me thank the team, obviously Ben, who you've seen. Erica, where you at? Oh, there you go, Erica. Erica is our program manager. So she's like behind the wheels, keeping the train on the track. That's a very important job, to keep the train on the track and moving passengers safely. And so that's Erica. We also have Jordan, who is our director of partnerships. Where's he at? There you go, Jordan. There you go. All right. All right, now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get this started. The first person that we're going to bring up, and then Mark will lead from there, is Sahar. Sahar, we brought all the way over from, where you at? Kenya, yeah, Nairobi. Nairobi, Kenya. It was a pleasure working with her, and I'm excited to see her video and for us to hear her Q&A. So thank you, Sahar. Actually, he's going to play your video first.
Hi, My name is Sahar Jamal, and I am the founder of Maziwa Breastfeeding. Our mission is to ignite the potential of mothers to balance their baby's health and their family's economic well-being. While working at Jacaranda Health, I met a patient named Isabel, who just had her second child and was dreading her return to work as a construction site manager, because to her, it meant giving up on optimal breastfeeding. Unsurprisingly, her construction sites don't have lactation rooms, so she needs to use the outhouse to express milk. Electricity is unreliable, so she can use her bare hands or a slow manual pump, and even if she managed to do so, there's no refrigeration to store it. Plus, her coworkers are completely unsupportive. Like Isabel, many working mothers in developing markets face the impossible choice between staying at home to breastfeed and going into work to support their families financially. There are millions of mothers like Isabel in Kenya and around the world, and only 10% of Kenyan mothers manage to balance both breastfeeding and working. Unfortunately, the impact of the trade-off can be fatal, because babies who are not breastfed optimally are 14 times more likely to die than those who are. To tackle this challenge, Maziwa has launched the only breast pump specifically tailored to working mothers in Kenya. The Wema breast pump fits underneath clothing, which allows women to pump in public without anyone noticing. It is rechargeable and wireless, so women can use it without consistent electricity, and we provide a breast milk cooler so that breast milk can stay fresh throughout the day. Additionally, Maziwa has trained a network of community breastfeeding ambassadors who provide hands-on, culturally relevant lactation support. We reach breastfeeding mothers by selling our product outright on our website, as well as through other retailers, e-commerce platforms, and pharmacies. We also offer product rentals for low-income mothers through clinics and hospitals, as well as corporate packages to large employers of women. So far, we are proud to have reached over 15,000 mothers and children through our products, prototypes, and services. We've also trained over 80 healthcare workers and generated nearly $3,000 in average monthly revenue, which is increasing exponentially month over month. More importantly, we have received incredible feedback from mothers just like Isabel, some saying it's the best breast pump in the market. Mothers across Kenya love the Wema pump and have benefited from our community breastfeeding ambassador program. These simple interventions can have massive impact on reducing infant mortality rates, preventing serious illnesses, improving cognitive function for children, and increasing female workforce participation. As the founder of this company, I have a decade of healthcare experience, and I'm supported by a strong cross-functional team. As a hybrid social enterprise, we are seeking grants and donations in the nonprofit. Just a $40 donation can support a mother through her entire breastfeeding journey. A $100,000 grant helps recoup over $800,000 in wages, along with driving massive health impact from breastfeeding. We are also spinning off our for-profit and raising investment from impact investors, which will be used to expand our presence in East and South Africa. So we hope you'll join us in this journey to ensure that no mother is forced to choose between her baby's health and her family's economic well-being. Thank you for your time.
All right, Sahar, I've got one. So all the way from Kenya, and you've been here for 4 months. What was your big aha here?
That's a great question. I think when you're operating a business for a long time, I've been operating for 3 years, it's always good to get perspective and to get an external point of view on the customer journey, the way that people move from current state to desired state, and what kind of theory of change you use to get them there. And I think just reflecting on some of those items really helped me because as you operate day to day, sometimes it's difficult because you're in the weeds, and both Kyle and Ben, I'm going to call you Ken now, really guided me through that journey, and I really appreciate that. It was also really great to interact with the other fellows and get feedback from them because they've gone through a lot of things that I've been going through, and it was nice to get their perspective.
So I'm interested, you now have created really a hybrid.
I think I'm too close to you, right?
There you go, how's that?
Yeah, that's better.
You now have created a hybrid, kind of a half for-profit, half nonprofit. Is that the way you started, or is that something that happened during your time at the Accelerator?
Yeah, great question. So I started as a nonprofit. We registered as a 501c3. My mission has been very impact-oriented, and the market that I operate in is very challenging for for-profits. That said, as we saw results from the market, we were able to see a profitable model that could emerge from the nonprofit that focuses on middle-income women. And so, through this journey and going through my financial model with my Rally Maker and with the team, I really was able to decide to spin out the for-profit.
So during the time you've been here, you've continued to reset and struggle to figure out what's next. Is there any great celebratory thing that's happened to you that we can all celebrate with you?
Yeah, I mean, in addition to the great feedback that we get on a regular basis from moms, which I always celebrate, I'm going to steal this one from a couple people who are also celebrating the same thing, but a few of us are going to be in India in December because I personally qualified for the semifinals for the Thai women competition in India, representing Thai Africa. The chapter, and Oscar and Ian will also be there, so we're going to have a little rally reunion in India in a couple months.
That's excellent. Give her a hand, everyone. Thank you very much. So next, we're going to go from Kenya to Longwood, Florida. There's nothing like making sure that we've got the globe covered here. And Margot Pagal is here from the Sharing Center, and they're next up.
Take a moment and imagine a place where anyone experiencing hardships, hunger, or homelessness can find respite and restoration. The Sharing Center has been that place for 36 years, serving over 452,000 Seminole County residents. The reality is, families and individuals in Central Florida lack opportunities to achieve financial stability and economic mobility, resulting in a house burden and food insecure community marginalized by poverty. Our community is facing profound crises. Florida has the third largest homeless population in the US. We are living in the least affordable region in the country, and nearly half of Seminole County families are experiencing hardships, hunger, or homelessness. The Sharing Center is rooted in helping families navigate from homelessness, from hardships, into financial stability and economic mobility. Therefore, today, we are evolving to link the last piece of our journey model, attainable housing. The completion of our journey model will be proven to move families and individuals into a financially secure and economically mobile life for generations to come. When someone is given the resources and opportunity to increase income, lower their debt to income ratio, and save for the future, our community becomes stronger. Rally makers, my name is Margot Pagan, and I am the Senior Director of Strategic Engagement at the Sharing Center. Our immediate need is to welcome attainable housing collaborations and funding opportunities. The Sharing Center received a generous donation of 3 acres of land and the opportunity to purchase an additional 3 acres in Sanford, Florida, with the intention to build up to 80 attainable housing units and also provide residents with the resources shared through our journey model to increase the impact. Whether you are a housing expert, a philanthropist, or social impact investor, myself and Nina Yan, the Sharing Center's president and CEO, would love to show you how you can make a generational impact right here in our community. Thank you.
Margot, so I love the journey method that you've put together here. What a lot of people, yeah, I know standing in that light's difficult. What a lot of people don't understand about housing is it's not the only part of the puzzle. You have to do the other things first. Tell us a little bit about your journey in the journey model.
Yeah, so that's the biggest part about why the Sharing Center wanted to join Rally. We are an odd ball in the bunch, as we are an established agency. We've been around for almost 4 decades. And so what we really wanted to accomplish going through the program is identifying what we are strongest at, but then also identifying how can we help actually move the needle for families. And so that's when the journey model that you all saw just a moment ago was born out of a lot of conversations with Kyle and Ben, and a lot of very tough conversations, and digging deep with the team at the Sharing Center about what we're good at, and then also what our purpose is. So that would be the biggest journey collectively. A lot of brain hurts along the way too.
So what is actually next? What happens next now as you leave Raleigh?
Yeah, so it's formalizing our journey model and making it a reality. The housing component is such a crisis in Central Florida, and by offering the housing component within the journey model and adding that extension, we are now becoming the most comprehensive social services hub in our area. And that is critical, again, for those wraparound services, that extended resources, so that we're ensuring that people are moving forward on the journey. A lot of people think that poverty or the experience of poverty is a linear, traction. It is very much a chutes and ladders. And so just being there by someone's side and having that network is very critical to the process.
So last question, that's next. What comes after that? Is this something that continues to scale, or do you build this up to a point and then just operate it?
So our vision is to scale the Sharing Center either through our model by working with and collaborating with other organizations on the state level or even on the national level. And very much similar to a lot of other agencies, such as like the CARE Collective that's in Chicago, where they are an international agency now with their program model, and moving that element of what we do forward. But then also the ideal of cloning the Sharing Center. Right now we're in a 36,000 square foot plaza. And so if you have ever been to a Big Lots or a Save Lot, that's pretty much what our plaza is, but it's a social services hub. And so actually physically cloning our program and our organization into other areas that are of greatest need.
So it sounds like you'll be the next model somebody will be following on a journey to try to use what you're doing and will do to do better. And thank you, Margot. Thanks to everybody. And for a minute, and bring up Mohamed Kamara from Atlanta. He's next.
Hi, my name is Mohamed Kamara, and I'm the founder of InovCares, where we're connecting women of color to culturally sensitive providers. I came to realize this problem after my sister passed during pregnancy. Millions of women are living in maternity care desert with little to no access to care, and that's why InovCares exists, to improve the maternal mortality crisis for women of color. We provide healthcare providers with a telemedicine platform that allows them to be able to see their patient virtually, receive payments on the platform, e-prescribe for those patients that need medication to be sent to their home, and as well as book rides for in-person prenatal visits. We also allow each of our providers to go through a culturally competent training that allows them to reach very hard to reach areas, especially women of color in rural areas. The market that we're serving is FQHCs, which allows us to be able to increase our number of providers on the platform. And these are usually the areas that low-income moms go to get care and behavioral health. So it's a $14.28 billion market. We make money through a subscription fee through the provider platform, and then the patient platform. But the revenue from those patient platform and charges will be passed down to payers who are our customer base. Where go-to-market is to increase the number of providers on the platform by actively selling into these health systems on this list, and then as well as payers, meaning insurance companies, which will provide us with more patients onto the platform. Our traction today, we have $350K in investment, $120K in revenue, 10,000 consults have been provided on the platform, and 40 healthcare providers. Our team is composed of myself, Dr. Wuta Umelo is a practicing OB-GYN physician herself, and Love Mo is also a second-time partner like me, who handles all of our technology. Our advisors, we meet with them on a quarterly basis. They come from areas in tech, law, and as well as hospital systems. We're raising the pre-seed round of $1.5 million, $600K of that is committed. It's really to conduct conduct pilots with 2 to 3 healthcare system, which will increase our number of providers onto the platform, and conduct 2 to 3 pilots with payers, which will increase the number of patients on the platform and refine our pricing model. We'll love some warm introduction to those payers, and really looking forward to improving maternal mortality crisis for women of color.
So, Mohamed, I'm interested in your business model, which is not an easy business model. How did you get to this particular model? Did that happen before you came to Rally, or did you add to the model once you got here?
Yeah, so I sort of pressure tested the model. At first, we were charging $10 per patient per month on a PMP basis. But insurance companies and payers don't like to pay $10 per PMP. They are much more comfortable with around $3 to $5 PMP basis. So that definitely got adjusted to account for that. And we find that some of our providers are still paying, some of them are paying $50 per provider per month to use the platform, but the more optimal price they prefer paying is $25. And so we adjusted for that. And that's through talking to a ton of them as well. So that was a change.
So the pre-seed that you're looking for gets you into pilot in these 3 cities. What does scale look like after that?
Yeah. To be able to scale this technology, you need the help of payers, insurance companies. That's how you can be able to get a lot of members and support them. So you think the Florida Blue of the world, the Humana of the world, because they have their Medicaid members, but their Medicaid members, and I'll give you a particular example here, Centene is a payer with 15.4 million members, Medicaid members, and they deliver 200,000 annual births. 30% of those births are high risk. Someone needs to manage those high risk patients, right? So we will come in and support that. And so any warm introduction to those people, well, it's helpful, and that's how we scale, because that increases our number of patients onto the platform. Right. And then for FQHCs, because we do need in-person care, it's women's health after all. Prenatal visits are very important to catch those conditions very early on. So we will love to connect to those in-person FQHCs that moms each tend to go to. So that's what scale really looks like for us. That makes supporting sense. Them virtually and then in person as well.
And geographically, that could be anywhere in the world, right?
Exactly. The only economics that we have to think about is when we're going through credentialing, those providers have to be credentialized in that particular state. Some providers can be credentialed in multiple states. So if we have providers and we have the funds to credential those providers in multiple states, we can as well.
And so, last question, what was your aha moment at Rally? What part of it really sticks with you?
The fact that we're a social impact organization, and Kyle and Ben really forced us to think through what is one single thing that we want to achieve. And part of that is we want to touch at least 1 million women going through their birthing journey successfully in order to reduce their premature delivery and improve their NICU stays, which is an area of cost for hospitals. So that's our entire mission. So to be able to be very succinct about that mission was part of the heavy work that we did through Rally.
So help me understand where you think the world's going to be different in 5 years if this goes the way you want it to.
So again, that goes back to our mission: improve the lives of 1 million women going through their birthing journey successfully in order to reduce the premature delivery for hospitals and improve NICU stays. So if we've done our job with that, that makes me happy that there are less mothers dying, and there are less child that will die. My sister passed during childbirth. My aunt died of the same similar condition, preeclampsia. So I don't want that to happen to other women as well. So that's why I'm in this fight with them, being an ally and an advocate.
Thank you. Give him a hand. All right, so now we'll come back to Winter Park, to the relative neighborhood here for Ray Horrell. Who's next?
My name is Juliana Rossi. I'm the co-founder of BOHO, which stands for Buy One, Help Others, along with Ray Horrell, our other co-founder. BOHO is a software that allows customers to direct where a portion of a company's profits go. Our entire mission is turning living into giving. It's really no secret that millennials have shaken up what corporate social responsibility looks like, and that they support brands that really identify with their values. We've all been at a retailer where they're asking you to round up your receipt to donate, or they're asking you to give an incremental dollar. What we know today is that only 24% of people actually give at checkout because they either don't resonate with the charity that's being offered, or they don't have the funds to do so. We're redefining that. We're asking retailers to dip a little into their profits. We're allowing customers to direct where the donation goes, and then actually be able to track where that contribution is going. This is what BOHO looks like. People can sign up, pick a cause of their choice, education, healthcare, environment. Within that, actually pick a specific charity that they care about that is fully vetted by our team. They can track their donations, and they can learn about other charities and share in different charity news. So BOHO is an app for shoppers. It's also a point of sale integration for retailers, and it's a powerful way to donate funds to our charity partners. How did we come up with this idea? We really listened to the market and really listened to consumers. We know that 90% of people, given similar price and quality, would likely switch to our brand that is associated with a good cause. And millennials are super motivated to shop with their values, and 65% of them believe it's a company's responsibility to give back. Currently, there's really no direct way for today's customer to control corporate charitable giving, and we're solving that by bridging the gap between companies and consumers to create more sustainable impact. Our capabilities target 3 audiences, and we've identified retailers that really fit our model the best. Our team is sitting excited, ready, able, and willing to go bring this to life. BOHO is currently under development, about to launch in November. The bottom line is consumers want to help, and they want corporations to help too. What we're asking here today, going through the Rally program, we would really love introductions to potential retail partners, $25,000 investment for software development, and we could really use some mentorship and software monetization strategies. We'll end with this. What if just 5 cents from every sale of 146 billion cups of coffee are served in the US each year? We could raise almost $7.3 billion every year. And you can clearly see the stats. If we all just did a little bit, what could we do together? Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for supporting the Rally program, and we really hope to hear from you.
So, Ray, this is a groundbreaker, isn't it? This is a twist that nobody's thought about before.
Yeah, I tell you, it's been a project that's been really exciting, but for us, it's all rooted in consumer feedback. And in a previous venture, we traveled the country with the foundation, and what we found is no matter what market we went to, no matter what state we were in a world that was extremely divided politically, and there's a lot of things going on, what we found, the one thing that brought everybody together is everybody wants to help other people. They want to do good. Right. So for us, really, this has given Good Intention a platform. And being in the wine and spirit space for my entire life, managing pretty large brands that did a lot of volume, I thought, man, what if those brands could just do a little bit? We could really do a lot. And that's what you see here today.
So as a foundation guy, the thing that hits me about this is millennials are the people that are most at risk of being lost as givers right now. Giving in the traditional ways in the millennial cohort is down 57% over the last 7 years. And it's primarily because They don't want to give in traditional ways. They changed other markets, they're looking to change the giving market, and no one's brought them an opportunity to do that, and this clearly does it.
And for us, in digging into this venture, what we found is people shop with their values today, and it matters. We had the opportunity to go to Chicago here recently and speak at a really big retail conference about responsible retail, the empathy economy, and today's consumer, and how it changes behaviors and how people shop, and they want to know what you stand for, and they want to know that you support things that they care about. So for us, that's where this came from.
So anything we can help you celebrate now? What's next? What's happening right now?
So when we first came into Rally, we actually were retail first. We were opening brick and mortar stores, and this was a small piece of what we did. Throughout this program, Ben and Kyle have actually made us rethink our strategy, and what we found is this. Boho is much bigger than our brick and mortar. So we've actually completely restructured our company. We're Boho Ventures. With that being said, Boho Ventures is giving birth to the brick and mortar stores. We'll launch 7 locations here in Central Florida. We are going to lead the way. We'll be the first brick and mortar to give back a little bit of our profits to our customers' charity of choice. So for us, really what's next is 7 locations opening. We're looking to raise close to $2 million next year for charity, just through turning living into giving.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ray. So we can't stay in the South all night, so let's go to Buffalo now, and Oscar Pedroso is here. Oscar?
Hi everyone, my name is Oscar Pedroso, founder and CEO of Thimble.io. Before Thimble, I was a math teacher. These happen to be 2 of my favorite students, Tyra and Monica. Their parents made minimum wage and could barely afford to put food on the table. Yet these sisters woke up every single day excited to go to school because they had one dream. They wanted to become astronauts and travel into outer space one day. Unfortunately, their district was one of the poorest in the country, and without the right programs and resources, they and 13 million other students wouldn't have what they needed to fall in love with tech. Let's take a look at the problem. U.S. employers are struggling to find qualified workers in computer science and IT. Almost 70% of all new jobs will be in tech over the next decade. Yet only 45% of public schools in the US have the modern training, tools, or curriculum to teach our youth the technical skills needed to succeed in the digital economy. If you think that's bad, only 33% of economically disadvantaged schools have a computer science or technology curriculum. Our goal is to target the large opportunity gap and serve 5 million kids by the year 2027. How? We'll provide critical access to learning opportunities through hands-on engagement, lessons, and training for K-12 schools. Customers we're already working with include superintendents, corporate sponsors, and family foundations to get our programs in classrooms. Schools right now do not have the modern training, tools, or curriculum to teach students the necessary skills to succeed in the digital economy. But Thimble is changing all of that, introducing a fun and state-of-the-art tech curriculum for K-12 schools. Our curriculum consists of learning software and optional robotics kits that teach students engineering, coding, cybersecurity, and other skills. Our business model is a SaaS solution with optional hardware. We charge an annual recurring license for access to lessons and sell kits and training for a fee. The e-learning market is on the rise with a global market potential of $75 billion by 2025. Our plan is to go after 100,000 public schools, giving us a $700 million opportunity. Impact is at the core of our mission. 85% of our students that experience Thimble are economically disadvantaged, 80% go through free and reduced lunch programs, and 65% identify as underrepresented minorities. We've been super busy. In the last year, we've won 40 district contracts, sold to 325 schools, and are on track to hit $1.5 million in revenue by the year June 2023. We'll win in this space because we have the experience in education and building companies. Our team has over 15 years of experience working as teachers and administrators, and we understand what it takes to sell into K-12. Our 3-year plan is to grow our school base to 1,500 schools, which would make us a $26 million business in 3 years. We are raising $1.5 million to grow our sales force and marketing team to capture more schools and corporate sponsors. So for students like Tyra and Monica, we're not just changing their educational experience, nor are we just changing what they believe they can do with themselves. We are changing who society sees as a scientist, a technologist, an engineer, and even astronauts. We are the brand that tomorrow's tech leaders will finally look back on as their childhood inspiration. Thank you.
So great job. It's a little like a stem in a box. You just bring it out and here it is, and you're bringing it to younger students than typically have access, and certainly to people who don't have the money to do this in school districts that may not have the money to do this. Is that scalable over time?
We think so. I mean, there's 53 million students in the US. Majority of them don't have access to high quality STEM programs, and that doesn't even bring up students abroad who don't live in as robust of an education system as we have here in the US. So I think as far as like the size of the market, I mean, there's a lot of impact that we could be doing to reach more kids.
So what attracted you to Raleigh? What brought you here?
Well, it's a funny story. So my mom, who's in the crowd somewhere, she's in Lake Placid, Florida. So when she moved there a couple of years ago, I was doing some searching on Google, and Raleigh was one of the programs that showed up. So I thought, hey, this will bring me closer to my mom, and I get to focus on the business. And that's what exactly happened. So here I am.
So is mom paying any attention to the company, or she's just happy you're here?
Oh yeah, the first 2 years she's like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Why can't you just do a 9 to 5? You'll have health insurance." And then over time, she's on board now. She's like, "How do I get a job at Thimble?"
Well, that's her job as a mom, to want you to be happy, and now you've turned her into an entrepreneur. So tell me about, if you were to look out 10 years from today, how much impact, how much scale do you think you can have?
I'm excited about what's ahead. You know, I really used to dislike the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because you never really know. I'm always like, I don't know where I'll be in a month.
Right.
But I think most recently we secured a partnership in India. We're going to be piloting our program in Jaipur, India with 500 students. And when that pilot turned out to be successful, the partnering organization wants us to scale up with them to 5 million students by the year 2027. And that's just India. That doesn't even include the 50,000 students that we've reached here in the US. Right. And if what we're doing in India can be replicated, then there's no reason why we couldn't bring it to Latin America or Europe or Australia. So I think in 10 years, wow, I don't even know what that number looks like, but I want to say it's definitely about 5 million students.
So that's a big, you got a ways to go here. You got things to do. But is there anything we can help you celebrate tonight? Is there anything that's happened recently that's a big moment for you?
I think that partnership that I just mentioned is huge for us. We just signed that agreement 2 weeks ago.
Excellent.
And it really hit home for me because they even prepaid for the pilot, which for me, I was like, what's the catch here? But the fact that they're doing that, they flew out our CRO to Jaipur, India a couple weeks ago, which happened on a whim while I was in California. She called me up as I was boarding the plane at 6 a.m. She's like, hey, they want us to come out to Jaipur, India, yes or no? I'm like, yes, of course, totally, let's do it. And we've been, for the last few weeks, just making sure all our ducks are in a row, because doing something like this in a place like India, I've never been there before, and I'm actually going to be joining Sahar and Ian in Hyderabad and Bombay in December. So
excellent.
We're going to be touring the schools. Apparently, there's like a few schools that we're going to be touring while we're there. So for me, that's like the biggest news in a while, to be honest.
You're going to love India, and education doesn't look anything there like it looks here. There's lots of opportunity. And so it sounds like you're scalable anywhere in the world, right? Because you're bringing the actual skill sets that these kids need, whether they're low-income kids in America or kids in another country that just don't have access to it at all.
That's right. We're going to be working with kids in rural villages in India who clearly have the capacity to learn the skills that we're teaching here in the US. Mm-hmm. But I think for me, I want to make sure this pilot works, right? So if we can do that in India, if we can get these kids to a point where they're learning these skills and hopefully becoming job ready for specific careers, then like that's the thing I'm excited about the most.
So I'll give you a tip about the rural village schools in India. The kids go to them. Many times their parents stand around the outside because they didn't go to school, and they get to watch and learn what the students are learning from the teachers outside in these schools. You're going to love this experience.
I can't wait.
Thanks so much. Give him a hand. So it probably makes sense to come back to Orlando now because we've been jetting around to other places. And next up is Sam Baker.
Hello, my name is Samuel Baker, and this is my enterprise, Wriggle Brew. It's an innovative liquid organic fertilizer. In 2022, the fertilizer industry has proven to be problematic for the environment due to runoff, expensive for farmers due to shortages, and has proven a strategic liability for the U.S. due to food insecurity. Florida's environment in particular is deeply negatively impacted by this fertilizer issue through the red tides, fertilizer-driven explosions of algae which threaten ecological stability and kill thousands of fish at a time. Wriggle Brew seeks to address this grievance in particular. Today, there are 47,000 commercial growers in the state of Florida, and they use 2 million tons of fertilizer annually, which have a potential for runoff. Hundreds of tons of this fertilizer alone are responsible for the coastal environmental damage we experience annually. Yet, these growers and their fertilizer are necessary for the Florida economy, and they are themselves victims of high fertilizer prices and the supply chain woes. The ideal solution, therefore, would not only remove the fertilizer which is causing this runoff, but also replace it with a product that is satisfactory to the growers. Enter Wriggle Brew. Designed and developed specifically to be a non-runoff inducing product, it's also been designed to outcompete existing fertilizers at an affordable price. An example of one of Florida's many growers is John, owner of Ralph Taylor Nursery. John's business has been negatively impacted by the rising fertilizer prices, and he's seeking an alternative. And as a native of South Florida, he's also concerned about runoff, although his priority concern is to keep his farm afloat. John's farm faces several issues. Fertilizers are expensive, and they are sometimes unavailable. If used improperly, many available fertilizers today can burn or even kill plants. Further, John's customers demand more organic plants, and his biggest buyer, Home Depot, is very demanding on how well the plants look. These demands are made harder by the threat of pests, which may require even additional treatments and further costs to remove. Wriggle Brew addresses all of these concerns. Not only is it more affordable and more available, but it cannot cause burn if overused, is entirely organic as it is derived from worm castings, and even helps prevent pests. In terms of cost, Wriggle Brew is 6% more affordable than traditional fertilizers, who also charge additional fees in taxes and shipping, which Wriggle Brew includes in its pricing. The total addressable market for Wriggle Brew is large, over $418 million in the state of Florida. Our goal is to reach 5% saturation in the small farms market and 0.5% saturation in the large farms market, totaling $2.5 million. By addressing the fertilizer need among farms, Wriggle Brew directly impacts the largest source of nitrogen and phosphorus runoff. Tampa Bay alone receives 87.5 tons of nitrogen annually, a reduction in which would directly lead to a reduction in red tide. Wriggle Brew has already found success in selling to small farms, including John from Ralph Taylor Nursery, who was particularly impressed by the loss reduction he achieved by using Wriggle Brew, saving many of his plants he would have otherwise lost. Wriggle Brew's team consists of 4 college students and our strategic advisor, each of us bringing a unique set of skills to the table, helping to make fertilization in Florida better for the grower, the state, and the environment. Wriggle Brew is seeking funding, space, and opportunities to connect with those who might benefit from an innovative, more affordable, and more environmentally friendly fertilizer. So look for us on the web or follow our social media as we work to make Florida farming more sustainable.
So, Sam, I'm touched by the fact that you're actually impacting so many different elements at the same time. Clearly, you've got an environmental hit here, you've got something that's good for agriculture here. I was just in an economic development discussion in the middle of the state south of here the other day, in which the concern for that economic development issue is agriculture being edged out, right? So now you've got a situation where in urban areas where there's agriculture, you've got something that will solve the environmental problem that those folks are concerned about.
Yeah, certainly, hopefully. Agriculture, is of course at the heart of everything. We all have to eat, and of course most of the products that we use every day have some sort of agricultural component to them. And as you mentioned, increasingly agriculture is becoming urbanized, but there are problems with that, especially as we try to move into a greener future. One of the problems I didn't mention is that nitrogen fertilizers actually produce a lot of carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide, which is a very, very bad greenhouse gas. So especially if we're doing, farming in the center of a city, we want to have something that's not only green and affordable, that can be purchased by, maybe some more marginalized communities, but also something that's not going to produce, vast quantities of pollution.
Right. So tell me, what was your aha moment in Raleigh? What happened that you went, oh my gosh, this is worth it?
That's a very good question. So very similar to Mo, I was actually drawn in by Kyle one day. He sort of just lassoed me and he was like, hey, get in here. We need to talk about your business model. And his key point was that we were focusing kind of on everybody, which, in the words of Frederick the Great, he who defends everything defends nothing. And the point that he was trying to make is that if you try to focus on every single market, you're not going to get any of them. Right. He told us to narrow down our focus onto the growers. That's where we can both make the greatest positive social change, because they're the ones who actually do 80% of the runoff. But that's also the market where there's probably the greatest amount of economic revenue that can be generated. Right. They're the ones who are most interested in getting new fertilizers to save them from the supply chain shortages. So we created a new web page that was targeted directly towards them. We started a campaign to start emailing them, and that advice really propelled us towards having a great success recently, which is we just completed a trial with John, and he loved it.
So as you leave Rally now, what's next? What happens immediately?
Immediately, I'm going to get barbecue. But
it's a good start.
After that, so we've applied with our technology to a couple different government grants. We just finished one yesterday. That was really a grueling process to do. But hopefully, with the combination of those grants and with some more sales to some farms, that funding will allow us to increase our production. And we just bought a 1,000-gallon tank, which is going to hopefully allow us to make far more fertilizer and help far more farmers.
That's something to celebrate.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Sam. Give him a hand. So now we head to New York to hear from William Glass.
I'm William Glass, CEO and co-founder of Ostrich, where we've developed a financial habit building app for college students. Our purpose is to ensure the next generation receives a financial head start, avoiding the pitfalls that have faced previous generations. See, there are 33 million adults in the US under the age of 30 that are constantly stressed about their finances, adversely impacting their health, happiness, and own sense of self-worth. And to cope with this financial stress, they're overeating, drinking alcohol, and smoking at a higher rate. And our aim is to reduce this by 25%. So what we've developed is a financial habit building app that ensures college students build a strong financial foundation. So when they first join Ostrich, they receive a financial health score, which shows them where they are today and how they compare to their peers, as well as what are the simple actions they can take to improve. And this is where we show them tools, products, as well as reward them for taking positive actions and use social accountability and community to create a fun and engaging experience. Our primary customer are the over 11,000 financial institutions in the US that spend over $300 to acquire a new user and struggle to reach this demographic. We make money through affiliate marketing, so we make $10 per lead that we send to our partners and $250 per conversion. To put this in perspective, these are the three things that we focus on with college students, and about half don't have a credit score, 98% don't have an emergency fund, and 66% do not have an investing account, which shows Ostrich's potential total addressable market is $8.5 billion based on those 33 million adults that are constantly stressed under the age of 30. Assuming $10, we get one lead for $10 and one sign up for $250. That's the total addressable market. And the way that we ensure that we're impacting our mission is by measuring the level of financial stress on an ongoing basis. So we're seeing what's causing it and how we are actually affecting and improving stress on an ongoing basis for our users. And we're hitting our stride. We booked our first affiliate revenue, which is exciting. We have 12 of those partners, financial services partners in the app. We've had 2 pilots with Rollins College and Hayes and have expanded that pilot with Rollins. We just rolled out, as of 6 days ago, our financial health score and already have 400 completes. And we have 1 channel reseller partner in the name, image, likeness space. My background is in B2B sales, and my co-founder, Andrew, is an experienced repeat founder in this space and has a finance background. Our ask is for introductions into pre-seed investors and colleges, as our aim is to reach 100,000 financial health scores in the next 12 months. Thank you so much, and please get in contact. My email is william@getostrich.com.
So, William, I'm intrigued by the fact that you've gamified financial literacy, and at the same time, you found a way to measure a really important social measure that is clearly by data causing this stress, but others have not looked at it this way. How did you get there?
Well, I think we looked at the problem a little differently. So my background, I saw multiple members of my family file bankruptcy, parents' relationship fell apart due to financial stress. And so got to see firsthand how money challenges and stress really control our health, happiness, and own sense of self-worth. And was frustrated personally that there aren't tools that really focus on the impact of not getting personal finance right. We know it's a problem, debt, yada, yada, yada. Everybody knows all the stats. Right. But it has these real consequences that are affecting other things that we care about, that we even heard from today, that folks are focusing on in this cohort.
I was looking at some research recently about the top end of Gen Z, who are all in their early 20s right now. Many of them are stressed by family experiences they've had. So they've seen their parents go through things that now they're so worried that they might have to face the same things, that they're not taking risks that you might hope and expect that they would take. This seems to be an opportunity to solve for that.
Yeah, exactly. We're providing a nice, easy way to make progress and alleviate some of those concerns, because all that Gen Z is hearing now is that there's inflation, you shouldn't get student loans, but I'm in student loan debt, I'm not going to be able to get a job. Right. And they're just hearing all of these challenges, and we're not providing solutions.
So what great thing has happened for you recently that we can celebrate with you?
Yeah, so actually the last 48 hours, we've spent a bunch of time with Rollins College and about 300 student athletes as well as leaders there, which is really exciting, actually getting to run through our app in more detail, as well as some extra programming, which is really exciting. And we signed our first NIL partner, so name, image, likeness space. If you guys aren't familiar, student athletes can now make money, which is really exciting. But it also presents a lot of challenges and opportunities. And the state of Florida has a requirement to ensure that those student athletes receive some form of financial literacy. And we want to go beyond literacy and provide outcomes, which is what we do.
Excellent. So what's next? What's the very next thing that's going to happen?
The next thing?
Right.
Well, the next thing is hopefully tomorrow morning we get a sale, but that's a whole another conversation.
I like it.
But the focus really is capitalizing the business so that we can achieve that 100,000. Right. We know that the business model is sound. We've got some great partners on the back end, financial services wise, and so it's about achieving scale and impact.
So you have no time for barbecue, but you're ready to go, right?
Yeah, ready to go.
All right. Thank you
Awesome.
very much. Give him a hand. So now we'll go out west to Oregon and hear from Ian Winbrock.
Hi, my name is Ian Winbrock, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of ChangeFinder. We're passionate about the problem of making grant writing more simple for the organizations that need grant funding the most, like our second customer, HempAid, doing work to alleviate hunger in Afghanistan. We're really focused on nonprofits and the entirety of the funding ecosystem that supports them. Foundations have funding and want to provide it to nonprofit organizations who need funding to do their work. Currently, there's a ton of inefficient processes which are creating funding bottlenecks, limiting the funding going from foundations to nonprofits. And during the pandemic, now nonprofits face bankruptcy unless there's a massive phase shift in the next 2 years. It takes way too long for nonprofits to apply for a grant. But we're here to change that. We want to close the $4.2 trillion funding gap for foundations and nonprofits to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. And we want to increase the amount of funding made available to nonprofits and cut the amount of time that they spend writing grants in half. And that's why we're introducing Granterly, which is going to take out the guesswork of writing great grants for nonprofits. So I wanted to introduce you to one of our customers, Michelle. She's a mid-career professional with 8 years in grant writing, worked at 3 different nonprofits, and she really hates the process of writing grants. So what's the problem? Michelle has limited time. She has limited energy to focus on grant writing because she has a lot of different priorities. There's a decentralized filing system, and it's really difficult for Michelle to pull in the information that she needs to write grants. And well, she hates grant writing. So our solution, Granterly, is Grammarly for grants. It's a SaaS grant writing product that saves her time, increases her efficiency, centralizes all these grant writing data, and makes her hate grant writing just a little bit less. So how does it work? We empower our nonprofit customers to upload their grant questions to our platform. We inform our model with optimal grants from a ton of different categories and verticals, and then we provide them with a match score. how good their answer is compared to our model. Our pricing's going to be $80 a month or $800 a year when we transition to a SaaS revenue model next year. Currently, we're bootstrapping with a fee-for-service consulting model with between $60 to $100 an hour per customer, and we're exploring creating an enterprise level to sell to foundations and consortia for multiple licenses. Our market size is approximately $1.36 billion for the entirety of the United States, but we're really focusing on nonprofits with more than $1 million in annual revenue, and even more so, nonprofit organizations doing COVID-19 response and recovery work, even at this late stage in the pandemic. We're driving outcomes by increasing success rates, leading to more work for nonprofit organizations, creating better quality of applications, which lead to more funding, which leads to more work and impact. And we're creating a pipeline for smaller, newly formed, unproven nonprofits that create greater resilience in the nonprofit ecosystem. We've had a couple of product market fit wins in the past 6-9 months, including using our own platform to secure grant funding for ChangeFinder. We have 2 contracts secured for more than $15,000 in revenue, and we're iterating software with our partners. We have an amazing team that's making this happen, from creating relationships with new customers to iterating our software platform. And today, we are asking for your assistance to help connect us to new nonprofit partners or even for-profit startups or social impact organizations that use grants to create impact. Thank you so much.
So, Ian, I'm intrigued by your disruption. You really have created disruption in the marketplace with this, right?
Yeah, well, no one was interested in the disruption that we were initially proposing, which was a marketplace play between foundations and the nonprofits they provide. So we pivoted through the rally process and really focused on the core of our business model, which we know super well, which is supporting nonprofits and their grant application success rates.
And so was that your aha moment? Is that what you figured out?
One of many,
yeah.
Yep. But certainly, yeah, really focusing on the core of our business model. Kyle and Ben were really supportive in driving down our social impact, but also our business impact. And so instead of kind of thinking and iterating our software product, which we're still doing, really what we're aspiring for now is bootstrapping our software development and our software team, led by Harry, our CTO, through a fee-for-service consulting model, which we know is not scalable, but it's our best way of achieving product market fit and finding out how to optimally inform our model so we can address these verticals, which are important to folks like Sam, who just had a horrible experience apparently with writing a grant recently.
And that allows you now then to also pilot the kinds of relationships that you need to develop. So you don't have to guess on them. This will allow you to start that process, learn what you need to learn, and then you can expand after the bootstrap.
Yeah, and like everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right? Our go-to-market strategy was like, we're going to focus on Oregon and the West Coast, and then here with all these amazing folks doing work all around the world, and this Afghani nonprofit was like, we need help, and we're like, we're not ready, what should we do? And they're like, go for it. So we went for it.
Yeah, excellent. So when you decided to come to Rally, what brought you to Rally?
I just felt like there was a community here of entrepreneurs and folks that support them. What I wasn't expected for was the community of Orlando to really support entrepreneurship and social impact in the way that they did. I was so pleasantly surprised. I'm ashamed I thought it was just theme parks. It's so much more than that. But truly, I wanted to be a part of a group of folks who really get it. In other accelerators that we've been a part of, while they've been great experiences, the focus on social impact and social entrepreneurship has been so deeply meaningful and enriching.
That's excellent. So what's next? What happens when you leave here?
Going to India with Oscar and Sahar. I'm deeply serious. So we're in a different pitch competition because part of our team is still in graduate school. Right. And we're really honored to be a part of this global community of entrepreneurs. And actually, we're helping another social impact startup based out of India that's doing B2B2C mental health therapy for companies. And so we're going to be meeting with Arco and the team from Amigo in Hyderabad because that's where they're based.
Maybe I should have said earlier that Rally actually runs a social enterprise that is a travel agency for India.
Absolutely, yeah. So the YouTube ads are coming out soon.
We try to get everybody to India, but it doesn't always work out. So as you look ahead 10 years for whatever scale is going to look like, assuming that you get through the first step, then the second step, what do you see longer term?
I see in 10 years folks like Sam not having to guess and sweat blood when they write a grant. They're just like, oh, right, Granterly, it's so easy. Let's just jump onto ChangeFinder. And we'd be working with organizations like Rally who have given so much to us, giving our product for free. So the next generation of Rally Fellows 10 years from now have a product that can help them scale their companies and their impact.
Excellent. What would you say to the next cohort that comes through Rally? What would you say to them?
It's super important to focus on the business, but don't forget the people that you're with. I would say spend as much time as you can with the folks that you're with because they're super inspiring and also you're going to learn so much from them.
Excellent. Thank you, Ian, and best of luck. Give him a hand. All right, now I have just a couple of people to thank. First of all, I want to thank all of you. This doesn't work unless these folks get to show what they're doing to you. And as you look at what they're asking for, if you can help with money, customers, connections, they all need that. And that's the part that makes Rally so successful. Second, I want to thank our sponsors, the City of Orlando and Orange County. We couldn't do this without them. And they are building a social enterprise hub here by supporting Rally so that we get more of this activity here. And the growth of Rally, they are partially responsible for it because of their investment. I also want to thank a company called Sounder, who is housing all of our fellows. So you may not know this, but people come here, they got to have a place to stay. And so it's nice to have a company that is so supportive of Rally that they're willing to provide that housing. And so I want to thank all of those folks. And then last but not least, the Rally makers, who this wouldn't work without this really incredibly driven and motivating group of people who come together and are paired off with specific skills to help the organizations that you've seen tonight. And in many cases, these Rally makers will continue to be connected to these companies because when they leave, they're not gone. They're not gone from our minds or our hearts, and we'd like to see what happens to them. And so I want to thank all of those folks. Please give everybody I just mentioned a hand. Now, there's going to be a link for fellow follow-ups, and I'm not sure where that shows up. Is that up here, or there's just going to be a link? It's coming. Stand by. Keep your eyes open for a link for fellow follow-up. And I want you to know that applications are open now for the winter 2023 cohort. They close on November 11th, so you can go to rallysea.com. And you'll find all the information there. If you know other people that are working in social enterprises that need to be a part of this, send them there, because this is the time. As you all know, everybody does applications due on November 11th, on November 10th. So there's still plenty of time to get there and fill out an application. You can follow Rally on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and all the latest updates on the cohorts will be there, and you can find it at Rally SEA. So I want to close tonight by saying thank you to all of you again for being here tonight, and we hope for the best for these companies, and we're looking forward to the next cohort coming in soon. Thank you all very much.